Hey everyone, Richard Morris with Cruise Planners, Arizona Cruise and Travels. My beautiful wife, Kristin. Hopefully you can see us well. We're not in our office. We're kind of in a different environment here. And at any rate, we're coming to you today live. We're doing something new. Right?
Yeah, we are.
It's always good to do something new. And, we own a full service travel agency here. It's a franchise with Cruise Planners. We've had it for 6 years. And it was going well.
It's going really
well until about 90 days ago. And then
more than 90 days ago.
Then all hell broke loose and COVID-19 hit and economy and all that stuff, happened. So here we are.
Here we are trying to figure out what's going on.
We're still making it. Here we're out in Gilbert, Arizona, and a great community here in the Phoenix area. Gilbert's a major suburb. It's been one of the fastest growing towns in the country for a long time. And it's been a great community for us. So
it is.
And great community for travel, for families who want to travel. Lots of families here in this area, Gilbert, Chandler, and Tempe, Mesa. So a lot of great type of clients. And people out here want to travel, right?
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Travel is, it kind of re-injuvenates yourself.
Re-injuvenates.
Yeah, that's a new word.
Rejuvenates. Yes. Well, that's, we believe travel excites the soul and invigorates your mind, and it just does things to you when you travel and get out into the world. So we wanted to come to you today kind of in our first live, and we'll do more of these. We're going to try to do a couple a week going forward on various topics. I happen to be reading a article that came across yesterday, I believe. And it was an interview with Rick Steves, who he was talking about the future of travel and what they were asking him various questions. And it got me thinking about our perspective of travel. Rick Steves been doing this for a long time. He's written, I don't know how many guidebooks, and he does tours, small group tours. So his experience is different than our experience.
Correct.
It's not quite as widespread as his, obviously, but we have experience, and coming from our perspective, we wanted to give maybe our perspective of the future of travel and what we're seeing currently. Now we sell cruises, on all the major cruise lines.
Right.
We sell land travel.
We sell all-inclusive
resorts.
And we sell custom
travel. So we do a wide variety of travel planning for folks. And so I think our perspective is going to come from a few things. Early on, we were rebooking people when cruises were canceled, because we didn't think this was going to last very long, right? But it's lasting longer.
That line keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So,
and that's because nobody really knows. The cruise lines don't know. The governments don't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
We just know that a lot of companies are afraid and scared, and one of these days, I think I wrote down a word on my notes. Hopeful.
Yes.
That's our word that we try to use every day. We're hopeful that travel picks up and starts moving along. So let's talk about cruises on large ships. My personal feeling is I don't know if we're going to see cruises on large ships this year. They keep moving them out. Most cruise lines are now canceled through the end of September. And honestly, I would say there's a greater than a 50-50 shot that we won't see large cruise ships sailing anywhere this year. I'm hopeful. Again, that word comes up. We're hopeful.
Yes, we're hopeful.
And we have people booked in October and November on some of the major cruise lines, Royal and Norwegian.
And December too.
And into December. But, you know, at this point, I can't even venture to say. Again, I think there's a greater than 50-50 chance that
it probably
cruises on major ships won't happen
this year.
And if they do, it's going to be very selective. It's going to be a few itineraries, and that's it. So if you want to cruise, you better pick an itinerary that's likely to go, like a Caribbean itinerary, something like that. That will be going. I just don't see it happening much for big cruise ships.
Right.
Okay. Now, my perspective on smaller cruise ships is a little bit different.
Right. They have that smaller foothold, smaller capacity for passengers. So they're not they're not these thousands and thousands of passengers.
Right.
On those ships.
I think if you're planning on cruising on a smaller cruise ship, you know, under 1,000 passengers or even smaller than that, say under 500, you probably, and it's in the fall, October and later, I think you got a greater likelihood that that's going to happen. We see hints from cruise companies like Paul Gauguin out in the French Polynesia area, Tahiti, that they're going to be sailing. I saw something, I can't remember the cruise line name. It's a European company that sails off of Croatia. They're announcing that they're going to sail, but we're talking very small ships. I think that's going to be more likely is a small ship.
Right.
The big drawback to that is those tend to be more expensive cruises. The average cruiser isn't going to be able to afford that type of trip. You know, we have some folks on a small, I believe it's a Silver Sea cruise in November. You know, I don't know, it's in the Caribbean and it's probably a couple hundred passengers at most, but it's a $16,000 cruise for two people. You know, families can't do that. You know, and a lot of people can't do that type of cruise, even though it's going to be a great experience. It's just not everybody can do that. So I think they're going to be more likely, but at a greater cost for people. My perspective. Land travel. So kind of moving away from ocean cruises, let's talk about land travel. Mexico, we've done some Mexico bookings recently in the last several weeks. Where are they going to?
They're going down to Cancun. They're going to Unico, one of the all-inclusives down there, and they're ready. They know we've told them about what they're going to expect going into Cancun International. You know, we've got transfers for them to take them to the all-inclusive, and they're excited. They want to get out. Travel.
People do want to travel. I think for the rest of this year, it's going to be very selective. Mexico's open. You can fly down there. You can fly down there. You currently you can't drive across the border, but you can fly to Cancun. We've got people going to Puerto Vallarta, and so people are traveling down there. They want to get out. I think that's going to be an opportunity along with the Caribbean. islands. Many of those islands are starting to open up. There's a schedule of various islands and when they're opening and what the protocols are going to be. You will see some changes at these resorts.
Mhm.
My big concern is capacity is really low.
Yeah.
20%, 30% capacity at some of these resorts. I don't know how long these resorts can operate with
such
low
low
capacity without there being some financial difficulties. We want to get people back traveling. So there's a line between, how much can we charge somebody and how few people can be there,
Right.
where it doesn't make financial sense. So I think as people travel more, we'll see capacity go up, and we might see some pricing go up
Yep,
too.
pricing will probably
There's
go up.
pricing when it comes to travel is one of those iffy things. We see the cruises pricing going up. We see airfare
Reasonable for now.
price for now, and the resorts seem to be reasonable.
But also the resorts, just like the cruises, not all resorts are going to be opening up right away.
Right.
That's also been staged too. So.
Mhm. Yeah, and at the resorts, it's easier, I think, with resorts because you can be socially distanced. Even back in December when we were at Great Exuma, you had this huge beach with sandals and you could spread out. I don't know what the capacity was at that time during that week that we went, but you could spread out on the beach and not be worried about, being near somebody.
Yeah.
So it's easier to do that at some of these resorts, particularly if capacity is down a little bit. You can spread out and not feel like you're on top of other people there. So I think that's a bonus. I think it's easier at these resorts to control the dining aspect of what they can open certain restaurants. It doesn't have to be
distancing between the tables.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be so free flowing where you can go to
Exactly.
10 different places, which may be a drawback, but at least they can control that part of it as well. So I think land travel is going to be a positive here the last half of this year, along with just local trips. We're taking a trip here in a couple of weeks to Ouray, Colorado.
Yes.
Little Switzerland, I think they call it
Switzerland.
here in the U.S. And it's a beautiful place. And we're going to go for 4 or 5 nights and escape the heat. But there's going to be a lot of that going on. And that's where a good travel agent can, if they've got experience staying at different resorts around their area, they might be able to help you find that unique bed and breakfast or something like that, and you can get out and travel. So that kind of land travel will be opening more and more up as we get through the year. Here, I wanted to touch on river cruising because I think that's going to be a big deal next year, along with Caribbean all-inclusive resort type stuff. I think river cruising is going to replace a lot of the ocean cruises, particularly those people that spend a little bit more money on their ocean cruises. And being on a river cruise with 150 or 200 passengers in Europe, where they can control the group size a little bit more, I think is going to be ideal for a lot of travelers.
Yes.
In Europe. I know we've got a group cruise next June, and we're always excited about our river cruises that we do, but I think that's probably the next big thing here as we kind of come out of this pandemic over the coming months and so forth, is river cruising replacing some of that ocean cruise.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
There. So again, smaller ships, smaller groups, escorted tours. I didn't really bring that up for land travel, but I think escorted tours are going to possibly have some difficulty. we loved our
We
Globus
loved our Globus.
trip, but when you're on a luxury motor coach with 40 people, you're not socially
distanced there.
for 2 or 3 hours of driving and so forth. So I think those companies, Globus and Colette and some of those other ones, we'll have to see. We haven't really heard about, what their plans are, if they're planning on having, instead of a
Reduce.
40-person luxury motor coach, you're on the same motor coach, but it's half the people.
Right.
I haven't really heard about that yet. And we'll have to do some more investigating. We've got some folks doing a Globus trip in November in Africa. So we'll have to see how that goes here. So that's kind of our take right now on the future of travel. 60 days ago it was different.
It was and in 20 days it could be different again.
Yeah,
we just don't know.
We may do a future of travel every month just to kind of see how that goes. But we're going to be more active doing these lives. And if you have any comments as we grow this channel, if you got any comments, definitely put them out there. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. We'll respond to that, and want to get this channel a little bit more interactive. Again, we're full-time travel agents. We believe right now, when you're working with a travel agent, they need to be a full-time travel agent. There's too many part-timers that are doing this as a side hustle. And again, nothing against that. When times are great and people are traveling, I suppose that's fine. But today it's difficult when you need to provide service.
Yeah. When you're looking at all of the requirements from all of the vendors, the travel companies, and what they're doing and all the changes that come, and it's day to day that these changes come, you got to be on top.
Mm-hmm. You got to be on top, and you can't be there just part of the time there. So very important this day to have full-time travel agents. We have an office in Gilbert. People can come and visit with us. We meet with clients now with masks. They got to come into the office with masks, but we'll gladly meet with people here locally and work with people all around the country. We have clients everywhere. If you've got future cruise credits that maybe you booked on your own and you spend hours with the cruise lines or whoever trying to get those things back, that's what we do. We spend hours on the phone. And if you want us to help you out, we can certainly do that. But keep an eye out for our next video, our next live session that we're going to do. And again, make any comments that you want in the comment section, and we'll reply to those. And we appreciate you. Richard Morris, Kristin Morris with Cruise Planners, Arizona Cruise and Travel. And our hashtag is Get to a Better Place. And so we're working at doing that ourselves, and hopefully helping other people do that too. So we hope you have a great day and a great rest of the week. Take care.
Bye.